Good morning, chemistry students. Today we're just going to do a little bit of practice on this whiteboard for reaction types. So just going through yesterday's lesson really quick, there were 5 different reaction types. The first one is called synthesis. Depending on like the textbook or maybe how old like a publisher is, they might refer to this as direct combination. So if you hear, like if I assign you like a site or a worksheet and they say combination, that's the same thing as synthesis. So it's 2 things forming one, the keyword being that one product. The opposite of synthesis is decomposition. So when you decompose something, you break it down. So decomposition, you're starting off with one reactant and you're forming 2 or more. Next, we have single replacement. For single replacement, we're going to have an element and compound yielding an element and compound. So single replacement, the one cation comes in and it kicks out the other cation. All right, so now B is by itself and AX is with, or A is now with X. If we were in the classroom, you just wouldn't write these together. You would have to make sure, am I canceling? Am I crisscrossing? Do I need parentheses? So the things that we learned with writing ionic formulas just don't go away because we're suddenly not in that chapter anymore. So everything is dependent upon you knowing how to write correct formulas. Double replacement is compound plus compound yields compound plus compound. And in a double replacement reaction, it's the 2 cations. So the 2 things that are written first that are going to switch. So now X is going to be paired with B, and A is going to be paired with Y. And it doesn't matter. It could be XB plus AY. That's fine. It's like adding 3 and 4 and 4 and 3. You're still going to get 7. But what you can't write is you can't suddenly make something that was last be first, right? Or something like, these are not right. So the cation always has to be written first. All right, and the last reaction that we had was combustion. All right, so we think of something on fire, maybe something burning. It has to have a very specific gas. It's a hydrocarbon gas. So we have C3, we have C4 plus, a hydrogen. It's always going to be the same 4 things. Some hydrocarbon, these numbers will change, plus oxygen, because you need oxygen to sustain a fire. Smoke is always produced, so that's your carbon dioxide, and so is water vapor. All right. So what we're doing today is you are going to practice reaction types. I have 5 examples, and I want you to kind of go through and analyze what they are. So what I recommend doing is pausing the video, copying them down, okay? So here is, I'll give you this screen that you can pause and copy. Here's problems 1, 2, and 3. You can pause and copy those. Here are problems 4 and 5. You can pause and copy those as well. All right, so pause the video and kind of walk yourself through the different reaction types to see if you can identify what they are. And play the video and I'll go over the answers. All right, number 1. This is how my brain goes through and figures these out. I look, and I'm like, well, I see a single capital letter Li, so I know that this is an element. And then MgO, that's a compound. So I have that. I have 2 reactants. So I can eliminate decomposition because decomposition is 1 reactant. Over here, I have 2 products. So I can eliminate synthesis because synthesis is 1 product. So I've eliminated 2 out of the 5. It's not combustion because I don't see I don't see a hydrocarbon. I don't see oxygen by itself. I don't see carbon dioxide or water. All right, so therefore I know that this is either single replacement or double replacement. Well, this is an element and compound. Looks like lithium is coming in. It's a single element and it's kicking out magnesium. Magnesium is now by itself. And lithium, the reason it has that 2 there is because it got crisscrossed down. So I have one thing coming in. I have an element coming in and kicking out another element. So this is single replacement. The next one, I kind of go through. Synthesis has one product. Well, I've got 2 products. All right, 1, 2. Decomposition has 1 reactant. Well, I got 2 reactants. So I normally go through and I normally eliminate single replacement and double replacement first. I'm sorry, I normally eliminate synthesis and decomp first. And then I go through and I look at combustion. All right. So combustion always has the same 4 parts. Do I have a hydrocarbon? Well, yeah, there's my hydrocarbon right there. Do I have oxygen to sustain, a fire? Yeah, it's right here. And it always produces carbon dioxide and water. So I have all 4 parts of a combustion reaction. All right. So I'm going to go through, I always start trying to determine, I usually do synthesis first. Do I have 1 product? Yeah, there's no plus something. So because I have 1 product, I've got 2 or more things making 1. This one is synthesis. All right, next one. Is it synthesis? Do I have 1 product? No, I have 2, so I can eliminate synthesis. Do I have 1 reactant that lets me know it's decomposition? Do I have 1 thing breaking down? No, I've got 2 things. So I can eliminate synthesis and I can eliminate decomp. All right, is it combustion? Is this a hydrocarbon plus oxygen yields carbon dioxide and water? No, not even close. It doesn't have any of those parts. So this is not combustion. All right. Well, what do I have present here? Well, MgNO3, parentheses 2, that's magnesium nitrate. That's a compound. Potassium fluoride, that's a compound. So I have 2 compounds yielding potassium nitrate, that's a compound. And magnesium fluoride, that's a compound. So I have 2 compounds on each side. Is that synthesis or, I'm sorry, is that single or is it double? Well, it usually means double. Let's check. I have magnesium here and potassium here. In doubles, they switch. So is potassium with NO3? Yes. Some of you might be thinking, well, where did the parentheses go? Why doesn't it have a parentheses 2? Well, potassium is +1 and nitrate is 3-, and their charge is canceled out. So that's why it doesn't have that parentheses 2. And magnesium is now with fluorine. You're like, well, where'd the 2 come from? Well, magnesium is 2+, fluorine is 1-, and we crisscross. So that's how we get MgF2. So this one is double replacement because we have 2 compounds yielding 2 compounds. All right, number 5. All right, let's go through our list. Is it synthesis? Has 1 thing been formed? Do I have 1 product? Now I've got 2. Okay. Is this decomposition? Do I have 1 reactant? Yeah, I do. It's not HCl plus something. It's just HCl. So HCl is breaking down to form hydrogen plus chlorine. So this is decomposition. How'd you do? It's in your best interest to kind of talk yourself through it, kind of like I just did. Know the keywords that you're looking for, and also just a little bit of practice is really going to help you. All right, so I'm going to put 5 more up here that I want you to try. Okay, so here is your next set of 5 practice problems. So pause the video, copy them down, see if you can figure them out, and then play for the answers. All right, so you should have paused it, gone through it, tried it on your own. All right, so let's do number 1. Go through the list. Is it synthesis? Is there one product? No, there's 2. Is it decomposition? Is it one thing breaking down? No, I've got 2. The next one I go to is combustion. Do I have a hydrocarbon and oxygen to sustain a fire? Yeah. Let's just double check the products. Does it produce smoke, which is carbon dioxide, and water vapor? Yes. So number 1 is combustion. Number 2, let's go through the list. Is it synthesis? Is one thing being formed? Do I have one product? Well, yeah, it kind of looks like one product. Magnesium plus sulfur tetroxide yields magnesium sulfate. Yep, this is synthesis. Number 3, is it synthesis? Is one product being formed? No, there's 2 products. Okay, go down your list. Is it decomposition? Is one thing breaking down to form 2 or more? Well, I got one thing, and it's breaking down, and it's forming 2 things. So number 3 is decomp. Maybe you were tricked by this, maybe you weren't. What is number 4? 2 things forming 1. This is synthesis. And number 5, some of you might have been like, there's a lot of writing in here. I'm not copying that down. Yesterday I said, if it appears there's a lot of writing, it's probably what? Well, this is a compound. It's a compound. 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 There were no single replacements in this because number 5 is double replacement. So go ahead. You can rewatch these videos. I might put up some practice today, or I might put up some practice tomorrow with this. Okay. I do believe your attendance tracker today is to notes. So post these notes.